Hello again, everyone. Witch Doctor here, looking at the markets and looking at the intraday activity of the foreign currencies. You get the dollar index futures as compared with the other majors. You got the dollar on the far left on an hourly chart, and then you got the yen, Swiss franc, and the Canadian across the top. Euro, pound, Australian dollar across the bottom. And as you know, what we look at is pay attention to what the dollar is doing to give us a guide as to what we can expect in the other markets. So taking a look at today's activity over yesterday's activity, you can see here that the dollar index basically started off the session pretty close to yesterday's closing price. Never was able to go down to yesterday's low here. Found the buyers and was basically on a bullish rip all day long, taking out the previous session high. And towards the end of the day, that is, not early on in the session, which is typically not what I want to see. I want to see this happen pretty early on in the session and then see the market run off of that breakout. But as you can see here, breaking late in the session and then ultimately failing over the last hour or so in the trading session. So what this is saying is basically that the bulls tried to push it above yesterday's high late in the session, but were not able to sustain the move, and essentially this set up for a pretty decent fake out. You can see if you were able to catch the high here, or even if you were able to get short the dollar as it broke down below the previous session's high. You can see a little bit of a run that the dollar made, but not too substantial here. Of course, the sentiment is that this level up here coincides with the previous high, the high of the year. We're back up to those levels in the dollar index futures. Now the question is whether or not we're going to continue to break above this level and then continue 84.25, reaching for a target up in the 88 range. But we'll have to watch that as this dollar index develops. Overall, finishing above the opening price here, so this is a bullish day. But we're going to have to see how this evolves going into the back end of the week. Looking at the Japanese yen, you can see here the yen really not doing much. Basically an inside day. And this is the type of day that you'd probably want to avoid trading if you're new or struggling. You can see how the market just basically compressed in between 78.10 and 78.30. It's about a 20 pip range, and that is definitely something that you don't want to be trading. Go take a look at the Swiss franc here and the Swissy. Notice that pretty much doing the same thing as the dollar index futures. Basically off of yesterday's low, higher low here. The bulls willing to pay up all the way throughout the day, and then ultimately breaking out of yesterday's high late in the session, but not having enough gas to come back, test the level, and then push higher. So you can see here also that breaking down below the previous session high. So this equates to a fake out. Now the question in the Swissy is whether or not we use this level as resistance and work our way lower, or if we push beyond this level and get up through the big parity levels. As you can see, 99.71 is your high right now, pretty close to the big parity level in the Swiss franc, looking for that one even level to be resistance. So now I'll be watching the Swiss franc very closely. Canadian dollar here, same thing. Did the low of the session today was higher than the low of the session yesterday, and you can see that the bulls were willing to pay up, taking price up into above yesterday's high, but again late in the session, so not able to maintain that strength. Now the question is whether or not we're going to continue to run, or if we're going to break down and then take out this low here at 101.60. Be on alert there, considering that the Swiss franc looks like it already wants to break down, but we'll have to pay attention. It's probably still early. Euro pushing to new lows on the year, 120, almost 120 even. You can see here 120.41. Breaking below yesterday's low, of course. Again, the same thing here, and then putting in a lower high than yesterday's high, but ultimately not able to sustain the move after the breakdown. You can see the fake out pushing back above yesterday's low. Now the question is whether or not this is going to continue higher. Same thing with the, what's interesting about the pound here, the pound basically range bound, not able to push down below the previous session low. In fact, using it as support here and this probably hopefully gave you the insight that you needed for the euro in terms of the weakness, not being able to sustain this move. You had the euro breaking down, but you did not have the pound breaking down, and this is what we call non-confirmation. Okay, you had the euro moving, but the pound was not confirming, and therefore this hopefully helped you limit your risk when you were chasing this move down, or avoided a terrible trade as the market was not moving lower. The Australian dollar as well, you can see that we did finally break down below the previous session low, but it happened late in the session, and ultimately there were buyers down here that brought the market back up, essentially trading up near the previous session low. Again, not able to sustain the move to the downside, as the same thing with the euro, and you can see here the pound may have given you the heads up that you needed to basically limit the risk there. So again, ultimately right now the dollar index pushing up to the highs of the year. We'll see if this proves to be a significant level of resistance. Same thing with the Swiss Franc, the Swissy going into that key psychological level at 1.0000. I'll be watching that over the next coming sessions to see if that proves to be a significant level of resistance that the Swiss franc winds up rolling over and then starts to make a swing trade back to the downside. So be on alert here. The Swiss franc is at a key level. That's all I got for this market wrap. This is Wish Doctor signing off. Good luck in your trading. Stay safe out there. Best regards to all. We'll see you at the next market wrap.